Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the DVO Show. I'm here with my brother Dale.
What's up, everybody?
And my guest Sandra.
Hi.
From Raven Moon Therapies. And we are in Santa Quinn, Utah right now. We're in a beautiful park, so I hope you guys get to hear the nature that we get to hear with the birds chirping, the wind and the breeze. And it'll be fun. So Sandra is with Raven Moon Therapies. What is your exact title that you go by?
Well, I'm a shaman.
A shaman, okay.
I don't have an exact title.
Okay.
I mean, I'm the owner. I'm the only.
So if people ask you what you do or anything, you say, I'm a shaman? Is that what you say?
I usually say I do alternative healing.
Oh, I
They're
like
more
that.
receptive to that.
Yeah, okay.
They don't look at me like I'm crazy, you know?
I guess maybe being from this area, I guess you can get that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, you've got some gifts, some abilities.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how you first came in to discover them?
Well, I've always been different. I've always picked up on spirits, and as a child, everybody thought I had imaginary friends, and they weren't imaginary.
Okay.
So I think that's something to look at when a child is saying they have an imaginary friend, to really believe it, that there is something there.
All right.
I didn't get that. I was, kind of, told to be quiet, told to whatever. And so I kind of didn't really accept my gifts until later in life. I was 17. I had a surgery. I had some health issues, and I died. And
Wow.
when I came back, there was no more denying it. It was just who I was supposed to be on this earth, and I got married shortly after and had kids, and kind of went on the back burner. But later in life, my husband died, and he would come to me all the time. And
After he passed?
After he passed,
Okay.
yeah. And I would smell him, and I would, all the things. And even through the years, between those years, I would still have experiences, but kind of like not acknowledge them to the full extent. And then after he died, there was just no more. It was like I was really supposed to step up, because he had severe anxiety, and my son started to have anxiety, and he wanted to get on medication, and I just knew there was alternatives to that medication, because it's so hazardous to your health, especially if you're not in a good frame of mind anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I really stepped into it then and started getting my grandmother, who's one of my guides, who's passed away way before I was even born, started coming to me. And when something like that happens, you kind of think, well, am I crazy?
Sure, yeah.
And there was just no denying it at all. And I kept thinking back to when I died, and I had the experiences I had being dead and coming back, and I just knew I was here for a reason. We all are, but
Yeah.
some of us have a more kind of in-your-face reason. And so anyway, I started learning all I could to help my kids,
Okay.
and it just went from there.
Let's go back a little bit. How old were you when you had this experience of death?
I was 17.
17.
Uh-huh.
And how long were you diagnosed dead? Minutes?
Minutes.
Okay.
In minutes, which we're the only ones that have that time perception.
Sure.
So when I died, it was for a longer period of time than just minutes.
What was it that you experienced then?
When I died, I was taken through a healing chamber, like a light chamber, where all the trauma and all the stuff from this earth was removed, except for the lessons I had learned.
Interesting.
And then, I believe that whatever we believe here on this earth, as far as a religious or non-religious belief system, is what we experience when we do pass. So because my belief system was, a Jesus and a God.
Sure.
I actually met Jesus and was taught by him, because he's, even if you don't believe, he was a healer, and he was you might as well say a shaman, but he was a muscular and he was very intelligent, and he wanted us to treat each other with kindness.
Yes.
And so that was what he really taught me, was how important kindness was, and how important that all of us have special abilities. You know, we don't come here just blind and not knowing anything. We have to tune into it. We have to reconnect with our divine gifts, our spiritual gifts, our, you know, whatever kind of gift you want to call it. we have to make the effort to bring that forward.
So you're saying we all have gifts?
Yes, we all have gifts.
Very interesting. And then when your husband passed, you started like seeing the full body apparition of him and smelling him?
Yes,
Oh, very interesting.
yes. I would see him, and again, you know, people thought I was crazy, and people thought, you know, wow, she's really grieving, and
Right.
and I was really grieving.
Sure.
But you know, I felt his presence so much that I woke from being asleep thinking that I had dreamed his death, and I could smell him.
Wow.
And so that was when I was really, you know, brought face to face with, okay, there's more to this world than we're led to believe. You know, the spirit world or another realm, it's right here with us. It's not like, you know, some faraway heaven or some faraway place.
Yeah.
It's just on another plane of existence.
Okay.
And so spirits that have passed on, they can come back, they can, you know, they can help us, they can, all of that, you know, they're not some distant place, you know.
Okay.
So so then, you know, after he passed and my son started having a little bit of anxiety, I was, you know, like, oh my God, I can't do this again.
Sure.
And so I just got into every kind of class I could get into. I'm a, you know, Reiki master teacher and massage therapist, and gosh, I couldn't even tell you. Do Ho'oponopono. I do many things, so many things that, you know, and I just combine them all in a session with whatever I get that person needs.
Okay.
I give them.
Okay.
So anyway, and then my grandmother came to me several times and told me, you really need to, you're at a point to where you really need to start teaching. And I'm like, oh no, I can never do that.
Yeah.
No, not me. Yeah, go mess with somebody else, you know? And so it just didn't stop. It was just like everyday's business. And it was, you know, kind of like, you know, okay, I'll do it. And then I did it, and I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad.
So your grandma wasn't physically telling you this?
Oh, no, my
she was
grandmother.
projecting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my grandmother's spirit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she was, when she was on this earth, she was a Creek Indian. She was a shaman herself. And she's like my great-great-great-grandmother. And I had not known of her. But when I was ready, she started coming to me. When I was receptive, she started coming to me. And she's, you know, like her grandma, she's pretty bossy.
Okay.
And she didn't let up on me.
That's funny.
And, you know, we had a few words.
I'm sure.
And so anyway, she wouldn't stop until I did what she told me to do. So thank God it wasn't rob a bank.
Yeah. So was anyone else in your family have like a heightened sense of these abilities?
Yes, my son Brian.
Okay.
He's very in tuned and has a lot of abilities. And it was when I was trying to get him, because he has a lot of more Native American on his dad's side of the family.
Okay.
And so I just always felt like he should, you know, pursue becoming a shaman, you know, do some trainings, just see what it's about. And he was, at the time, very adamant that, no, I'm not doing it. And he didn't listen to me. He said, we, you know, had some words, and he says, do it yourself. You want somebody to do it yourself. And I said, okay, I will. And so that was how.
That's funny.
After I stomped my feet and said, okay, I will.
So what did you do then?
I took a course. The first course I took well, I took many courses, but the first course I took was just an online course just to kind of get my feet wet.
Okay.
And then I, found some people that I really could relate to, and I went to their trainings, and just hours upon hours of trainings and, books and just everything I could get my hands on.
Oh, okay.
And I'm still that way today.
Still learning, still
learning, still
progressing.
Yeah, still all of that, because there's so much we don't know, and so that's how I spend my time, is with my nose in a book, my nose on YouTube, my nose somewhere.
Okay.
Where it's not supposed to be, I guess. Sometimes.
So and you noticed changes, right? You started seeing more.
Yes.
Okay.
And I started seeing more, noticing more, just being in tune. And I always knew once you opened that door to shamanism that there was no going back. It was a way of life.
Okay.
And everything, would just progress, and there would be no going back to denying, let's say.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at now. It's just like, I know everybody's not where I am, and some people are more advanced than me, but I can't deny what I know.
Sure.
And so I started teaching, and I teach class one-on-one. And that's, I met you and your brother through Brian. Yeah. And we've been doing classes now for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I do the classes one-on-one. I find one-on-one for the shamanism works best, because then I can tap into his guides and know what they want me to teach. So
Okay.
I tap into my guides, I tap into his guides, and it's not that I'm teaching him new stuff. I'm just bringing to his remembrance, to his awareness now of things he's known all along.
Right. We're talking about my brother Dale.
Yes, Dale. And he's been an amazing student, just really, really in tuned. And I think part of the class is just a matter of giving the person the confidence and the acceptance that, hey, what I know is real, and what my gifts are real. And just like I went through my whole life thinking I was crazy, thinking that's something wrong with me because I wasn't like everybody else. And it wasn't until I did the shamanism training that I know that we're more alike than we are different.
Sure.
And Dale's been an amazing student. He doesn't always do his homework, but
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Yeah.
I don't always do my homework either. True confessions.
And so
I do the good parts though, right?
So some of the background is Dale was really if you know Dale, my brother, he's really into fishing, and he was on some forums trying to learn a different style, right? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, the Tenkara fly fishing.
Yeah, so Sandra's son Brian, which he's mentioned here, he was also on some forums, and they were talking, and they found out, hey, they live near each other. They decided to go hang out a little bit, and we become friends. Coincidentally, Brian is also into ghost investigating, and so me, Dale, and Brian, the three of us have gone and done our own investigations before, and most recently we came to their house here in Santa Quinn. And that's when I just met Sandra, and she was telling me a little bit about what she does, and I thought this would be great for the episode here. But when I walked into the house, and we're not filming in the house today because you are moving, and that's okay. But when I walked into the living room, the first thing I see were tons of crystals and stones. You've got sage. I'm not sure, but I think you've got some. Brian also has some haunted dolls, you could say, in the house nearby as well. What kind of tools do you like to use? Are you really into crystals and stones?
I love crystals. I like the crystals. So being a shaman, you don't have to have things in your possession. You can call upon the spirit. So if I wanted to use like rose quartz, because I felt the person I was working with needed more love in their life, or self-love, and I wanted to call upon, if I wanted to use a rose quartz during that session and I didn't have one, I could call upon the spirit of the rose quartz just like I could call upon the spirit of a rose, let's say.
Okay.
So you become more in touch with the spirit of things, and everything's alive and everything has a spirit, whether it's alive at this moment or not. At one time it was alive.
Sure.
And so you can call upon the spirit of them. But yes, I do, because I love them. I have a lot of crystals and a lot of essential oils and sage and Palo Santos and all that kind of stuff. And if I have it handy, I will use it, because it just feels good to hold it in your hand.
Sure.
And if I don't have it, then I'll call upon the spirit of it.
Oh, okay.
To use it like that. And
interesting.
And it works, basically the same.
Do you have what a go-to that you always most feel comfortable with?
I have a large piece of selenite that
Selenite, okay.
I haven't packed away. I know where it is.
Okay.
And that's one of my favorite things, because it's it clears and cleanses.
Yeah.
And it gets rid of all of that junk.
Right.
And so I will use that quite a bit.
And that's for people wondering, the selenite's not big, but it's a white, very white crystal. Almost looks like a rock salt almost.
Yes. It is like, you can't get it wet or it will
Start to dissolve.
dissolve like salt.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's one of the most crystals you can rinse, to clear them.
Yeah.
But this one you can't. You just have to clear it in your mind with intention. And a lot
Okay.
of things we can do with intention, and we don't have to actually do it physically.
Does the moon help cleanse them also?
It does, but you can take your crystals and your stuff out underneath the full moon, and it cleanses it. But in the old days, when I had just a couple, I would do that, and now I've got so many, it would take me a week to get them all out there, and a week to get them all back in. So I just do it with intention. I'm like, well, the spirit, the energy of the moon, it doesn't just hang outside; it's everywhere,
Okay.
And so it just does it, and so.
So speaking of the moon, let's talk about the name. Why you picked this name, Raven Moon?
Well, the raven is my spirit animal.
Okay.
Which I can help people find.
So everyone has a spirit
Everyone
animal.
has a spirit
Okay.
animal. It's like a gift when you're born. You're born with a spirit animal that helps you. You can draw upon the characteristics of this animal. So the raven, it's always been in my life, and I never thought much about it until my husband died and it got in my face. But the raven is, it was even here today when we were doing class. You saw it fly over.
Earlier today, so Dale and Sandra have been kind of working with each other. Dale has the potential for some very strong abilities. He's not really tuned in yet, but that's what he's working on. That's the point of the class. He's working on tuning those in. And so they get together every once a week, and they let me tag along. It was a very cool procedure to kind of watch. And so we already had a little bit of class today, and now we're doing this interview. So that was very interesting. So during their class, Raven started squawking and then flew overhead.
Yes, and so so that's always, I will see the raven wherever, and then the moon. I've always loved the moon, but the moon, the new moon, it's a time for new beginning and setting intentions and setting goals. So I try to be aware of the phases of the moon, and then the full moon is a time to release and to forgive and to let things go, so that we can make room for the new stuff. And so sometimes I'll have ceremonies and really do it ceremony with the ceremony, and sometimes I just do it just with the intention.
Okay.
I've had ceremonies in this park with people during a full moon or a new moon, and so I'm just really drawn to the moon. Having worked on a suicide crisis line and an ambulance and all this kind of stuff, you can really see how it affects the full moon, how it affects people.
Sure.
It's like, the emergency rooms get busy. You never wanted to work the suicide crisis line on a full moon, because you would just be swamped.
Wow.
And it really does affect people in that way. And so we have to learn how to harness it.
Okay.
And use it for, things like forgiveness and letting things go, things that are, healthy for us than us, being crazed out by it. So the moon is really powerful. And so, just one day I decided that would be the name.
Okay, I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting that when I think of the moon, I think of the gravitational pull on the
Exactly.
ocean waves.
And that
But you're
too.
saying That's like a sliver maybe of.
Yeah. Well, you know, our bodies are mostly water, so it
Yes.
has the pull on our
Oh, good
us
points. Yeah.
just like it has on the ocean.
Oh, good point.
And so we are very affected by the phases of the moon. I don't think there's enough, you know, and if you do magic, you do it under certain phases of the moon.
Okay.
It's more powerful to do magic if you're inclined to do things like that, or pray or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, the more powerful you feel when you're doing things like that, where it be prayer or magic or setting intentions or whatever, the more powerful they'll be, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, anyway.
I think it's so fascinating. So, would you say you also have some psychic abilities then as well?
Yes.
Because you don't just do appointments, you know, either at your house or in the park, but you also do them over the phone. I heard you say.
I do. I do them over the phone, and I do some psychic life coaching where, you know, I can help the person get through whatever they're going through at the moment, because I can give them a little bit of information about what's going to happen in the future if they keep going down this path or they go down a different path, and just kind of guide them, you know, because I can see things. And, you know, sometimes that's helpful for people. I do mostly, you know, soul retrieval. I've worked a lot with drug addicts and drug rehab.
Okay.
And I do a lot of soul retrieval because any time in life where we have experienced trauma, and everybody's got their own definition of trauma, you know, what's
Sure.
trauma for you may not be trauma for me because of my life experiences.
That's true.
But you could still have soul loss over it. So
Okay.
soul will fragment off, and a therapist would call that disassociation.
Okay.
And where really it's soul loss, and a shaman can travel a journey and find the fragments of the soul, bring them back, and make that person feel whole or grounded or all of that. And so I do that a lot. I help people find their spirit animal that helps them connect with the characteristics of that animal, being strong and confident. Like, say for an example, if it's an eagle, the eagle always flies above the storm.
Yeah.
So, you know, you think, okay, well, I'm not going to get caught up in this drama that's around me. I'm going to be big enough to, you know, to go above it, to
Yeah.
live above it. So, things like that, it's very helpful. What else do I do? Today,
Oh, sorry.
today we did, we helped some spirits cross over. Derek had the wise idea that we would do 9/11 since it's
Today is September 11th.
17 years.
yeah,
17-year
years ago,
anniversary.
'cause we couldn't think of anything, and he pipes up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a little much.
Yeah, so we all try to do a group meditation
Yeah.
where we would try to put ourselves not during 9/11, but at the location, the current location.
The monument.
The monument, yes,
Uh-huh.
and see if there was something or someone or someones that may want to be kind of crossed over. And they both had experiences. I mean, let's talk about me personally. I was very in tune to it, and I was very relaxed during it. I didn't see anything, however, but Dale and Sandra both did. I don't know if you guys both want to kind of share what you envisioned today.
Okay, so I first saw, like, there was a lady waiting for me in a red business suit.
Okay.
And then behind her there was another tall blonde guy in a blue suit, and both of them wanted to be crossed over. And after those two, then I seen a lady with her child, a small child, maybe around 4 or 5.
Okay.
And they came along, also wanting to be crossed over. So after all of them, then, and this was all a guided meditation too. So as Sandra was talking about things, I was seeing things and doing things and kind of doing things on my own. And like when I was bringing the light for them to cross over with, I grabbed the sun and brought the sun down as the light for them to cross over into. And going through that chamber of the cleansing chamber, it almost seemed like they left the sun and went through, came out of it and just it kind of dissipated, but they left as a white energy matter, just kind of stringy balls of matter, just kind of exiting out and leaving.
Interesting.
And then when they were done, I grabbed the light, and set it back in the sky. And then as I was kind of walking away from that, there was another guy kind of waving me down to also be crossed over. It was this black dude in a tan suit.
Okay.
And when I was interacting with the first 4 people that I was trying to help, we were just kind of mentally knowing what each other was saying and doing. They kind of,
Interesting.
the woman kind of showed me her way of dying was, she was
Which women?
the woman in the red dress.
The first woman you saw.
The first woman, and it was almost like she was crumbled down on, like she was in the building as it collapsed.
Oh wow.
And the taller guy behind her with the blonde hair, he kind of showed me like he jumped out of the window.
Wow.
But I didn't see the woman with the child. I don't know if they just didn't want to tell me, or I just didn't want to know, but that wasn't ever communicated to.
Okay.
And then the last guy that came up running to me, he was kind of waving me down. Like he was like talking, like his mouth was moving and he was kind of talking. And he was grateful that I was opening the light for him again. And he kind of got into it like it was a car, the way he kind of got into it sideways and then like was sitting down as if he was getting in a car.
Interesting.
Where the other people, they kind of walked into it. This guy kind of sat down as if he was getting in a car, and then same thing happened with him, and I grabbed the light, the sun, and put it back in the sky. So that's what I saw when I was there.
Now, when we say crossover, what does that mean to you guys? Where are they going? Where are they crossing from and to?
Just to another realm, to the spirit world, as people will call it,
Okay.
or just to another realm of existence. And it's not, like I said before, it's not a faraway place. It's just another dimension of this this reality we live in.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So what happened when I was doing the guided meditation, and I'll usually do a guided meditation to help either my client or my student relax so that they can get where they need to be.
Uh-huh.
And so we went to the monument for, the Twin Towers, and I kept feeling children, and I kept arguing with myself, well, there were no children there. It was an office building.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, that can't be right. And so I'm continuing because it's Dell's class. I, continue helping him. And then when we come back and we're talking, I said, I felt the presence of children, and I couldn't make sense out of that. And then Dell says, well, there was a daycare there. And I thought, oh, so that's when you need to go with what you feel and not discount what you feel and not let somebody else talk you out of it when you're getting information on spirits. And so later today I will go back and I will help any of those children that need to cross over. I will help them, and I've asked Dell, to go ahead and go back too, just to make sure.
I just Googled it. It showed that there were 8 children that died.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wow.
I don't watch the news, so I avoid the news.
Plus, hard to remember,
Yeah.
7-8 years ago.
No, it was 17 years ago.
17. That's what I meant. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It's been so long.
But I could hear them, and I knew they were there, and I could feel their presence, and I'm just like, oh.
And you wanted to doubt that, but then,
because I'm human.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, that couldn't be. And then I was like, well, I'll just wait till later and see if there's something else going on in the area that had to do with children at another time.
Yeah.
But then he told me that there was a daycare, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, we're human. We doubt ourselves, even, with as much experience as I've had. And sometimes I talk to myself, and I'm like, that couldn't be.
But now we talk about that, the anniversary of 9/11. I remember exactly what I was doing, where I was, everything. You guys remember all that too?
Yes.
I was actually in college at the time. I remember waking up, and every morning I would turn the TV on, just as background noise while I got ready to go to my first classes. And I remember kind of seeing it. They were just talking about it. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And then right then, the second plane hit the next Twin Tower.
It was very scary.
And it was crazy. And I remember at the time, my cell phone at the time had an FM radio built in. It was like a Motorola. And I went to class. I remember I'm just listening to the radio the whole time. And even our professor, he didn't even have class. We just were watching the news. It It was crazy. I was hooked. I was hooked to the TV for 2 or 3 days straight.
It was unbelievable, is what it was. It was unbelievable and so tragic. And that's when you brought it up today. I'm like, no!
I know. It was almost, I forgot you guys were talking about finding traumatic or horrific tragedy.
Yeah.
And you guys you couldn't pinpoint a certain one, and I just thought, came to my mind, oh, it's 9/11 today.
Then I wanted to punch you.
Because then we rolled with it.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is real quick, Sandra, you were talking for clients or students. So you accept people to contact you that they need some guidance in something, they need some cleansing, they need something, they come to you. Or if someone like Dale is trying to get more in tune with maybe this gift or ability that they already kind of see potential and they want to increase that, they can contact you too. What's the best way for them to either follow you on social medias or contact you?
I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
Either Sandra Benedict or Raven Moon Therapies. I would like to quickly say, it's Suicide Prevention Month. Yesterday was Suicide Prevention Day. And I work a lot with spirits that have ended their lives by suicide and or drug abuse and drug overdose. And I think it's important. One of the things I am really want to help with is the grieving process.
Okay.
I experienced that myself, and it was horrific, and it was just, I had nobody to turn to. I did start doing Reiki, and my Reiki teacher, she did a lot of sessions with me, and that helped. But now that I'm further along in my trainings, I can, help get you in touch with the person that's passed, the spirit of that person.
Oh, okay.
And let you know what's going on with them and all of that. And I just think it's very, very helpful. It's just unbelievable how many people, people that die from suicide, they're not necessarily trying to kill themselves as they are trying to stop the pain they're going through, be that physical or mental. And I think if we understand that, we have a better understanding of the whole situation, that they find themselves in. So, whether you're thinking about it or you've had a loved one that's committed suicide or died from a drug overdose, there is help. There is help.
Thanks for bringing that to light. That's very interesting. That concept, you're right. They're not intentionally, I guess, trying to really die. They're just trying to escape.
Yes.
From whatever it is that's ailing them.
And that's what, why people turn to drugs too, to self-medicate.
Yeah, good point.
Because maybe they've tried, or sometimes they're, they go to a doctor for pain and they get pain pills, opiates, and they get addicted, and then they can't get it and they turn to street drugs. So, like I said before, we're all more alike than we are different. And, one of the things that I learned when I died was that we really need to show compassion. Yes. And we need to show love and kindness and all those wonderful things that there's just not enough of.
It's funny you mentioned that. Just today I posted something about kindness a little bit earlier today on my social medias. And what I want to do now for the next little moment, I want to be an open book a little bit, and which is kind of scary. but for my podcast and YouTube channel, which I'm recording both for, I'm going to let Sandra, and if maybe Dale wants to chime in, he can feel free to maybe do somewhat of a reading on me a little bit. We were just kind of talking before we hit the record buttons. She was already kind of pinpointing a little bit of things on me. I was kind of mentioning how I wonder, I'm so strong-minded, I wonder if I maybe block things out unintentionally. I wonder if I have, guides guiding me through this world. And now that what you just mentioned about that, I actually had a friend I've been thinking about. Last month was the 14th anniversary of his suicide. And a few weeks ago I posted that on my social media as well. I've been kind of thinking about him lately. And now that you said that, it just kind of jumped to my mind. So I don't know, where do you want to take this, Sandra? We were kind of talking, we were talking a little bit, like I said before, we hit record, that maybe I'm too strong-minded and I block things out.
Yeah.
Am I like that? Do you read that from me?
Yes, I read that from you, but I feel your energy is really tight.
Okay.
Really, you're wound really tight.
Yeah, maybe that's why I can't sleep at night.
Yes, you're wound really tight. You're very analytical.
I am.
It's not that you can't believe
am very organized.
Yes, and so I would challenge you to try to do
Okay.
something that's not scheduled,
Okay.
that's spontaneous, that is, even relaxing, and just something outside of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is very walls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Walls. So I want you to step outside those walls this coming week, and you can message me and tell me how it goes.
Okay.
Tell me when you're going to do it. Tell me what you're going to do. And, on Facebook Messenger, I'm on there. If you guys have any questions, you can message me on there, but I'm pretty good about answering pretty quick. So, kind of step outside of that.
Okay.
Not because there's anything wrong with you, because there's not,
Sure.
but just to get in tune with yourself a little more, the real you.
Yeah.
Because we come into this world, as these innocent babies, and we're programmed even before we're born, because we can hear what's going on, in the womb. We can know what's
Yes.
going on. We can pick up the energy. We can, so the programming really starts when we're in the womb, and then it continues. A lot of us are, programmed to believe in certain religions and certain political views and whatever, by school and by church, and even mostly by our families. And so, although you and Dale are brothers, you're very different.
Sure. Yeah.
And so somewhere along the way, you decided that, you were going to stay in the safe zone.
Okay.
You were going to have everything planned out so that you know exactly what to expect and what's going on. And so, step outside of your comfort zone. And we should all do this.
Sure. Yeah.
We should all step outside of our comfort zone to experience life to the fullest. So, put down your planner,
Okay. Yeah.
and do something different. If it says, you're going to eat dinner at 6 o'clock, don't. It's that easy. Don't,
Okay.
They
Yeah.
kill you the first time. And your wife may go like, what is going on? But, try doing things a little different, because if we always do things the same way, what does the saying go? If we always do things the same way, we'll always get the same results.
Yes.
So we can just start little by little, stepping out of our comfort zone and doing things a little different. And me, I should be scheduling things, because I schedule nothing. So I'll spend the day as Derek, and he can spend the day as Sandra.
Yeah. And, it's
Scary for you.
And it's funny you say that, because I feel like I'm so go. I'm a road warrior. I'm always on the road. I'm doing appointments. I'm doing interviews. I'm doing everything, and I'm in the city a lot, and I'm in traffic a lot, and I've been thinking, I need to get a break, and I need to go up to the mountains.
Yes.
I feel like I need those negative ions. I need to kind of get out of the toxic
Rat
air of the
race.
Salt Lake Valley and the rat race, and just go up to the mountains, maybe go on a little hike and just kind of calm down, or sit by a lake or something, and just
sit.
turn my phone off.
Do nothing.
Yeah, I want to turn my phone off.
Sit and do nothing, and notice nature around you. Notice the beauty, and feel the energy, because, although you're wound pretty tight, if you give yourself a chance, you can feel the energy around you. You can feel the spirit of the trees that surround you, the earth. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You can lay in the grass and you can feel grounded by the earth, the energy of the earth, and connected. And we all need to be doing that, not just you. I'm not giving you a hard time, but we all need to take a break from the rat race, from the daily grind.
Yeah.
Because it's very stressful, and it's very it's not healthy at all.
It's true.
So
Yeah, it's good to take a break once in a while and just
it is. So
let your body get
yeah.
aligned again, or
Exactly.
whatever it is.
But you have a very good heart. You have a very good soul.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
just you're a genuine person, but you are really tight.
Yeah.
Very analytical, and there's nothing wrong with that, because a lot of people are that way. It's just their personality type. It's just their, the way they were programmed. And it's funny how two brothers can be raised exactly the same way and be so different.
Yeah.
Because he's a little
And at the
Yeah.
same, and be the same at the same time.
Yeah.
So different and so similar.
Yeah.
We do. We have so many similarities,
I
so many
know.
differences.
Yes.
It is funny, but maybe that's what makes us get along so well too.
Yes.
You know, because my brother is my best friend, and so maybe that's what makes us get along so well.
Yeah. You guys have a very good relationship.
He's
a very
scheduled, and I
good-
live my life a quarter mile at a time.
That's what I do too. That's how come we relate.
How about that? You know, you were talking about the societal awareness. Is that something we could maybe try to do? Get in tune with my friend, or?
You know, when I saw you posted it on Facebook.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And I did get in touch with. I did kind of feel his presence that day.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's something we could do on camera.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I'm not like that person.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just not.
Yeah.
I can talk easily and I can do that easily, but I don't know. It's sacred for me.
Oh, that makes sense. I
it's-
like that.
You know, it's sacred. It's
Yeah.
not something I do just to show.
Okay.
But if you would like to do it, you know, one-on-one with me, I would
Yeah.
love to do that. Although I
Okay.
told you earlier you were so rigid, I didn't want to. I'll give you another chance.
Yeah, relax first.
Yeah, learn to relax.
No, you gave Dale a task that I didn't know, and it was for Dale to try to find, you know, close to him, people to him, their spirit guide, their spirit animal,
Their power animal.
their power animal.
All of those words.
And
were-
so Dale kind of, I didn't know, right? He kind of was trying to tune into something with me, found an animal I know he told you about. Did you kind of grab that too?
I did. I could see that about you because you know.
You want to tell him what it is, Dale?
A cheetah.
Yeah.
Because I'm very quick.
Yes. Always going. Always
I am
moving.
always going.
Got
And I
something
didn't understand
going on.
it.
Yeah.
I just seen that, and that's what I brought to the table.
But still a very powerful animal.
Oh, sure.
And a very beautiful animal, and
Yeah.
very, you know, just very health conscious, very sleek, very, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
Very confident, very, you know, just a really beautiful animal. I can definitely see that, especially with the movement part, because, you know, the cheetah's quick and always moving kind of thing. And, you know, yeah, very much rings true.
Okay. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I think I'm very interested in that now. I want to kind of research a little bit more on my own about that and what that could mean.
And
for me.
Dale's is the Komodo dragon.
Yeah, the Komodo dragon.
And first I thought it was just a dragon, and then as I, you know, kind of got more information, I got the Komodo dragon. In fact, in class that day when we did it, I said dragon, and then later I think I texted you or messaged you and said,
Yeah.
oh, it's a Komodo dragon. And yeah.
Well, at
So
first you were
interesting.
saying it was some type of dragon. You couldn't figure it out, but it was in the water.
Yeah.
You're saying it had to do with water. And then when you realized the Komodo dragon, it dawned on me, well, they're on an island, the Komodo Island, and it's surrounded by water.
Yeah.
And they're in the water and out of the water.
Yeah.
So that it kind of
And
was very
also a
cool.
powerful animal, and also
And you said you saw mine as breathing fire.
yes.
That was pretty cool.
So that was his element. You know, we all have like you know, an animal. I believe we all have an animal. We all have like a lucky number. We all have an element. We have you know, just different things that we more relate to.
Okay.
So his was fire. In fact, I encouraged him to go and do a fire meditation. Is where you know, you have a fire or you light a candle and you kind of zone into that flame, and
Yeah.
you know, you meditate that way. There's so many different ways to meditate, but because of his element being fire, you know, and sometimes people will have more than one element
Okay.
that's powerful for them. So there's so many things in this world that we just, you know, because we're so busy and we're so preoccupied with work and family and, you know, making a living and all that, and just kind of sometimes surviving, that we don't notice, you know, that,
Yeah.
you know, that all the other things that are around us that are there to help us, you know.
So true.
I don't think anything on this earth, well, that's nature, let's put it like that, was not for our health and our our peace of mind and our
Yeah.
benefit, to help us.
Do you think maybe some type of, I don't know if I want to say narcotic, but maybe, a lot of people have said that they use marijuana or mushrooms to maybe help elevate those abilities or senses, or maybe even the opening of the mind. Do you believe in that as well?
Well, I do. I mean, you have to do what works for you. Me personally, I don't use anything. I use meditation and prayer and things like that. But I do know that the shamans of old, they would use different herbs and yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
To get them at a place. It would be part of their rituals.
Okay.
And so, a person has to use what works for them.
Okay.
I am a big believer in medical marijuana and even recreational marijuana, if that's your choice.
Okay.
Other drugs I struggle with more because of even prescription drugs because of the addiction.
Yes.
And so, alcohol, all of that.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
we just have to be very clear on how far we take it and how often we use it, and keep a hold on it so that we don't become addicted, because anybody can be.
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody can be. It's not like you have an addicted person given a prescription for opiates or for pain, and you take it for a period of time. Your body is going to be addicted.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with your personality. Sorry, it doesn't. It
Right.
has to be, but it is what it is. And so
Yes.
I'm just one that's very leery of using substance.
Okay.
But I don't judge people that do, and I don't, say you shouldn't. I just want people to be aware that, once you go past a certain point, it's
Yeah.
harder to come back from.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I appreciate your time, Sandra, and letting me talk to you and kind of pick your brains. But it's been very enlightening and very informational for me. I've enjoyed it a lot, spending the last few hours here today with you and Dale here at the park. It's been really fun. Anything else you want to say before we close out?
Just I hope everybody has a great day, and remember to be kind to each other, and remember that we're more alike than we are different, and just love one another.
So true, so true. Hey, thanks, Sandra, for coming in today. I'm gonna put Sandra's information in the description here, where you can reach out to her. I think it'll be great even if you know somebody that has maybe some type of potential abilities. They should reach out to her. Or she was even saying, addictions or things like that to kind of help recover your soul. Someone that maybe needs that guidance. Feel free to reach out to her, guys. Hey, thanks for watching and or listening to another episode of the DVO Show. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.